Hi guys. Guess what I'm getting out tonight? This one. This deck right here. No, because I was at work all day and I thought about what had happened with the Hurricane Dorian. It had not hit the east coast of America as of yet so far, but it's just stayed hovering over the Bahamas. And I did a reading by myself, only a 3-card reading, past, present, future, outcome, things like that. And I just feel like it's really just crazy, because you guys will not believe me unless I put it on the video myself. It was 3 water cards, Queen of Cups, King of Cups, and a Page of Cups, or a Knight of Cups. And I just was so dumbfounded. I could not do it anymore, because I was just doing random readings about random things with my friend as practice. And so, like, for it to show up as 3 cup cards when this is a water card, I couldn't even read it to grasp what kind of destruction was going to happen to the Keys and whatever, and the Caribbean and things like that. The Caribbean. I'm sorry. I'm so Americanized. I say Caribbean. But, like, it's like I couldn't even fathom what it's so bad right now that there isn't even a weather balloon that can be sent, and when one's sent, it's already too late to show what's happening in real time at that moment. Like, it's really huge that was going on right now. And for, like, the East Coast, us in the East Coast to be okay and fine, just even with a little wind, a little shower, it's like it's kind of crazy how that's happening. Sorry. So, like, the most inconvenience that we dealt with was, we gonna miss the Labor Day cookout and stuff. And it's like, we don't even remember, like, people in the Caribbean be dealing with this stuff. Like, one of my family in the Caribbean lost their house in a flood a few years ago. So, like, I'm happy everything's fine and stuff for us in America, but, like, the damage that's done in most of the time in America, we bounce back from, in most cases, like, not even including Louisiana and stuff, what happened in Katrina when I was a little girl. But most of the time, we bounce back from it. But for the Caribbean, like, it's crazy. Like, you notice every year it's different countries. Like usually Haiti or Puerto Rico doesn't get hit twice or whatever. It's usually just like every other year the country gets hit. So it's kind of like God's way of saying, I'm going to spare you and things like that. Okay, so I don't even watch the news. It's so sad. And, like, I'm just drawn to this deck right now to kind of give like, what do you know, in the eyes of the cards, what is going on with, I'm just shuffling for a while, what is going on in the rate of recovery for the Bahamas at this point in time? 3, 2, 1, and we gonna shuffle. Wow. So, like, no, wow. So, this could just be, why when I look at this, I think of Puerto Rico. It could just be that they're already going through a lot of emotional bankruptcy, financial bankruptcy at this time, so it seems like here is showing that they were very ill prepared, which is obvious that they were very ill prepared at this time for it. And the 8 of Swords, what I'm showing, I don't really go by the manual as much, but what I'm showing here is that, like, it's not something that blindsided them. It's going to blindside them. I'm going to have to go refer to the manual for this one. And please note, this is a very beginner introduction to tarot reading and things like that. So for the Eight of Swords, it's basically the Eight of Swords is similar to the first meaning: pretentious, insecurity, trouble, public embarrassments at the hands of others. So yeah, it's not something there. Destruction is not something that Caribbean is very used to in terms of, say, financial poverty, not getting the right resources and things like that. So it's not like, oh, it's like they're, I'm not surprised, I'm just disappointed kind of feeling in how maybe the government and the relief aid is going to help them at this time. What is Trump going to do in regards to relief aid? What is the Trump going to do in regards to relief at this time? If any relief at this moment, What is Trump going to do? God. Oh, God. He's on oh, gosh. What I want to say is that... he's just going to be on his high horse all day as usual. It's going to be the same nonsense he mentioned during the issues that Puerto Rico faced 1 or 2 years ago. I can't remember the names of each hurricane. So he's just going... This is how he always acts in his stance. The reverse high priestess, very unbalanced, very misguided in terms of how he... Very defensive, too, in how he makes decisions, as usual. Queen of Swords. He's just waiting to watch what's going to happen. Then he's going to wait for a social media response to do something. And then the Seven of Cups. I don't know about the Seven of Cups. He's just gonna... just gotta close my door. He is just going to... sorry. He is just going to act like... He's gonna act like he's the victim in all this. The same way with Cabernet. He's just gonna act like the victim as usual in regards to responding to relief funds and things like that. He's gonna act like it's inconveniencing him and things like that. He's just gonna start grasping at straws. You see, Four of Cups, Seven of Cups. See, he's just gonna keep grasping at straws, trying to like, I always see duality and parallels when it comes to cup cards. Like, you see Puerto Rico barely got so much, Bahamas barely got any relief and things like that. Like, when Puerto Rico, right after Puerto Rico, by the way, had their hurricane, Monsanto quietly snuck up into their country to start experimenting on chemicals and things in a sense like getting sick. So you can see, like, aside from the cards, this is my 2 cents. Every time, you know, the government, a lot of these companies are ambulance chasers and things like that. They'll wait when you're at your weakest moment to kind of put this in, you know. So I'm not saying Trump is siding with Monsanto and things like that, but it's kind of funny how after Puerto Rico's hurricane that almost destroyed them, Monsanto decided to put in campground. But this is not a reading about opportunistic capitalism. This is a reading about the recovery of the Bahamas. So, in regards to, what else should I read? Okay, give me any general reading about key factors in the recovery of the Bahamas? Will it be family members of the Bahamas, donors, government assistance, taxpayer money? What's going to assist with Puerto Rico? No, not Puerto Rico. I'm sorry. The Bahamas recovery. What is going to be a key factor in the citizens of the Bahamas bouncing back from this? I'm not even sure if the hurt can diminish, but I don't even like. I'm sorry, I don't like watching the news sometimes. And my friends argue that the news is a very, very, very important tool for us, but I'm sorry, I just don't like watching the news. So who's going to play a key role, a true key role in at least attempting to recover the Bahamas, even on the economic level, because they say there might not even be trees left. Who is it? Who is this is it the same person? Is it 3 opposing characters in the cards? That I'm gonna have to dissect it and look into this, because when I see this fish here in the reverse of Page Cups, I think of a person with their hand out, and Jesus is giving that person a fish and bread and things like that. But it's in reverse, so I feel like it's going to be, right now they're not even sure how to even get the aid to them. It's because I remember Puerto Rico, man, they couldn't even get ambulances or anything. So right here, it's like there's some like maybe Red Cross, I don't know, because there's red here. Maybe it's Red Cross. They want to give aid and things like that, but they want to, like, you know, be like Jesus, get a fish and bread, but they don't know what to do. And with the card of the Fool right here, I truly think that it's a reverse card, so it's not about adventure and things like that, or not adventure, I'm sorry, because a Fool usually represents adventure, like shenanigans, things like that. They're usually going off the cliff trying to deal with life, things like that. But because it is reversed, they don't know. Like, all of the people like, nobody knows what approach to take for this person they have to appease right now. You know, I'm not saying this is a wolf in sheep's clothing or a friend, but they don't know how to appease to these people to get the correct allocation of resources and aid to the Bahamas when the storm does settle down. And with the 4 of Coins, it's like, with the 4 of Coins, it's like, with the 4 of Coins, the 4 of Coins, I knew it wasn't about money in the back of my head, but I didn't want to say they were going to take it away for greed and things like that. So maybe, like always, the benefactor is not always the beneficial person. So I don't know if it means the 4 of Coins means that, like, is going to be a lot of like funds that don't go to the right places for the right people. But also, what I do want to know is, are we going to be able to, like, left the Bahamas because I did not watch the news. I don't know if it left the Bahamas or not. But that's a story for another day. So, in regards to the America, we still gonna be on stand. We will, like, you know, especially where I'm from, we're always on watch in the South when it comes to the hurricane hitting us. We're always on watch. Like, oh my god, like, people still got their shutters up, even, like, everybody says it's gonna go towards north to the Carolinas or whatever. But it's like, oh my god, when I get off this reading, I'm going to go on to the news to see what's going on with the Bahamas right now. But so we're always on watch. Always have. Always been on the East Coast. Then again, this could be my bias because I am from the southeast of America. So that could just be my bias in regards to this interpretation of the card. But when I look at this, it's always watching or being at the whim of somebody else for the Nine of Staffs. Always watching, being at somebody's whim, being obedient, maybe being fearful, being observant. So that's what we're always doing this. The Two of Coins is supposed to mean a balance in regards to money usually or resources. So let me get away from the human interpretation, like finance, emotion, things like that. This is Earth, the Two of Earth. So with American, with the Two of Coins is an Earth card. So could this mean that this could be a balance going on with nature and things like that, of that sort? Because you do see the boat, even in the sea, look, always the ocean in the back.